And Puerto Rico's Carlos Rivera going to be looking after this men's gold medal final. Congratulations to them for being appointed to the game from the panel.
To meet the teams, we're kicking things off with the team in white. Accueillons l'équipe qui porte le blanc ce soir. Give it up for Team Norway!
World number ones, ranked number one.
Vikings are not only
And
world
one of only
champions,
7 teams
but
to
also
currently hold the world and
gold
Olympic
medalists.
titles.
Please help me welcome to the court, player number 1, Joël de Mauer,
Anders Mol, one of the best blockers that's ever played. Having a few problems with his sunglasses there, but he is definitely the standout star when it comes to action at the net.
Let's bring out his partner, player number 2. Give it up for Christian Sørum.
But it takes 2 to tango, and without the defensive brilliance of Christian Sørum, the beach volley Vikings wouldn't be the force that they are in this sport.
Time to meet their opponents. Second team on the court, playing in red, l'équipe en rouge, Team USA.
There's a very similar feel
These two recently won
on
gold
the
medal
US
in
side of the net as well.
In Elite 16 and a gold medal in Dubai in the 2022 Challenge event. They're back on the court, ready to walk. Give it up for player number 1, numéro 1, Miles Partain.
The precocious talent of left-hander Miles Partain, the defensive player in this unit. And alongside him, a blocker that is impressing us game after game, Andrew Benesh. Oh my goodness, we could not have picked the ingredients for this Montreal final any better. This is going to be a blockbuster for gold. Countdown is on to one of the most eagerly awaited matchups of this season.
3, 2, 1, let's go!
Going for gold in Montreal, Canada, at the 6th Elite 16 event of this Volleyball World Beach Pro Tour season. The number 1 seeds, the world and Olympic champions in white, Christian Sørum, and the man at the net, Anders Mol. And a bit of trickery already from the team in red. The USA pairing of Miles Partain and Andrew Benesh, who beat the Volley Vikings twice in start to have the only winning record over this team in Beach Pro Tour volleyball. First point on the board then in this race to 21. Simon Golding with you for this one here on VBTV. And alongside me, our Volleyball World expert analyst, Travis Muhurter. You can feel I'm setting you up here, can't you, Travis? You know what's coming. You know what's coming. One word answer after this rally. Who's going to win? Oh, big swing from Partain.
The one word answer, I have to go Norway. Now, I did put up a poll on social media, and I apparently have a very bold American demographic. 68% are picking Miles and Andy to win this match. Ladies and gentlemen, you are courageous picking against Anders Mol and Christian Sørum in that kind of numbers.
Great swing down the line. That sweep from Benesh has become a bit of a trademark and very effective too.
It's especially effective because it's so deceptive. He's showing all angle, and then it's just no look crossbody down the line with a load of power.
Good hustle from Partain. Tries to pokey that off the block of Mol and away, but that's a second hitting error from the 21-year-old defender. Just a slight worry, the old kinesiology tape on the ankle and Achilles there of Anders Mol, and he's been quite open in interviews in recent months talking about the fact that this pair are now playing with pain. He said you can't play this much beach volleyball and get to this age without a few things starting to niggle. But let's hope he's okay. Nice shot. 2 line shots then with Christian Sørum in close attendance, and Benesh just drives it past him.
And what I love watching is when teams start to play each other more and more and more, and they start to get more of a feel for one another. Now, the United States, a lot of teams have begun serving Anders Mol, U.S. going right at Christian Sørum versus Norway going right at Benesh. And again, the United States, another opportunity in transition.
Great touch from Sørum. Oh, wow. Absolute ripper from Anders Mol.
And the bomb from Anders, but it is the genius and the egoless play here from Christian Sørum. Watch this. He has no intent on killing this ball, just recycling it perfectly. That's a play that Norway works on, and they do over and over and over again. Christian Sørum, just a genius, high IQ play right there.
It's more like it from Miles Partain. Rarely makes clusters of errors. Tends to sort things out pretty quickly in his own mind and then execute.
And every kill thus far for the United States has been down the line. And that's something that, if you watched the quarterfinal match that Anders and Christian played against the Netherlands, Robbie Musin and Alex Brouwer, when Musin was attacking those lines, he was siding out at a very high rate in the United States, not messing with that big angle reach of Anders.
Lovely. Just so clever. Just transporting that ball very fast to an area that wasn't covered by the USA.
And Anders and Christian, you don't get to #1 in the world and stay there for 5 straight years by staying the same. They continue to evolve and running that fast offense while Andy was still running up to the net. Excellent little wrinkle there for Norway.
And a very nice cover on the option ball. They know that Partain's going to hit a lot of second ball in this match, and Mol's going to be aware of that.
And what a lot of teams have been doing is just abandoning the option of Miles Partain and having the defender match up with Partain. Anders tracking all the way across the court to block that option.
Well, there we go. Second go at it, and he plants it.
And here's something I want viewers to take a note of, is that when Miles Partain makes a mistake on an option, if the pass is there, he is going to go right back to it. The confidence of him to go right back to the same play that he just made a mistake on is outstanding.
There's a line shot for you. Anders Mol, one of the greatest exponents of that shot out on the right side.
I think Anders Mol is just a textbook of beach volleyball fundamentals. His arm swing is about as perfect of an arm swing as you're going to draw up.
Trying a bit of everything, but Benesh is hitting some great seams and a bit of good work down the line again from him.
Again, he's avoiding the block of Anders Mol, which is just about impossible to do. But what a tremendous drone shot of this crowd. This crowd has been just awesome.
Wow. Some serious heat there, handled by Partain, but still can't find his way past Anders Mol. Do you know what this feels like, Travis? This feels like game 3 in the series. They're straight into it.
They are getting right into it. And again, Partain's side-out percentage in transition, he might be in the negatives at this point. So I'd expect Norway to maybe start switching up their service strategy because Partain's been struggling offensively.
Good call. That's where they go. And he rips it into the corner. Again, not over-hitting it. He can hit the ball very hard, but generally just gets it to the place he needs to get it with good pace.
And that cross-body swing that Miles is starting to hit more and more and more. Teams had already begun adjusting to his angle swing, especially after they struggled a bit in the final round of the Ostrava qualifier, where Miles got blocked 5 times in a row swinging angle. So he's developing this cross-body swing that now you have to go back to the drawing boards on what his tendencies are.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good. And as tough as it has been for the Vikings to lose several finals this year, you can see it in their faces. They are just loving the test, the challenge.
I think it's been a welcome challenge for them because now you have 3 teams, I think, in Miles and Andy, Norway and Sweden, that teams are just going to have to watch film, and it's finally, it's just not one target on Norway. And what a fantastic swing down the seam for Miles.
As a right-hander, it's always felt awkward watching lefties swing. No offence, Travis, but Partain is so smooth. And that's a cracking comeback. USA starting to put some pressure on again here.
And as for the lefty comment, no offense taken. I take that as a supreme compliment. I like to call it the lefty weirdness. It's good for 1 to 2 points per set sometimes. And Miles, his arm swing is just about perfect as well. It's just so difficult because you don't block against lefties very often.
As the Benesh turn and burn, his ability to get down from the air and make the play is huge, and it's created eventually a point, which means that USA nudge out to an early 2-point lead, and the test is on, well and truly, for the Norwegians.
And these are two teams, two of the best defensive teams on the planet, and so neither of them are ever concerned about going down 2, going down 3. Andy and Miles twice were down 3 points earlier today in their semifinal against Italy. Obviously was no problem, and Anders and Christian, they're never concerned.
Hammer blow from Mal, quick apology. Seen a few plasters applied to foreheads and noses, with blockers sticking their heads up above the net tape and getting thumped for their troubles.
See, that's why I like being an undersized blocker. I don't have to worry about that.
Option. How does he hit that? I mean, Allman is all jack in a box and dynamics, but this guy Partain hits the ball just as clean to the sand with far less drama.
It's his range. Miles has the most range of anyone in the world on 2, bar none. He'll hit it from 10, 12, 13 feet off the net, and it'll make it look like he's right on top of the net. His range is incredible.
Lovely angle, beautiful shot to watch, but it's not in court, so it doesn't earn Norway a point. And they stalk away to the technical timeout with a few things to think about already. Look at this, 12-9 up USA. They've started as they mean to continue, or they're just continuing as they did in start.
To beat Anders and Christian 3 times in a row, I mean, that would be, that's a souvenir you just need to take and keep. That would be an incredible stat.
No doubt about it, the US Federation have found an absolute gem of a partnership here in Miles Partain and Andy Benesh. They just look so comfortable and confident against the Vikings. They don't seem troubled at all.
And they just have this air about them where they just act like they've been here before. They've only been there once, and yet they just seemed like they've been here their entire careers.
One feature that you'll notice about the American game is that there isn't a real direct power service pressure. They tend to rely on their process of block and defense. Do you think that's something that'll change down the line? Are they going to produce something different from the service line?
Well, I think a lot of that comes down to the constant switching between Wilson and Mikasa, where the Wilson on the AVP, wow, what a cover from Andy Benesh.
Oh, it's even better from Partain, and it matters not, because the best athlete in beach volleyball right now hammers it. Anders Mol for the point.
Good heavens, that is a big swing from Anders, but it's the switching from Wilson to Mikasa I think a lot of Americans struggle with in terms of jump serving, where if you watch an AVP, virtually every single player is going to hit jump serves because Wilson's more receptive to topspin, and it's easier to make good hand contact with, whereas if you miss the Mikasa, it's a lot easier to hit an error from the service line. And so I think that when U.S. players are able to string together 3 or 4 or 5 international tournaments in a row without switching back to the Wilson, that's when you'll start to see them start to have a bit more service pressure with the jump to the top spins.
We'll keep an eye on that. Well, that looks in to me. That looks in. I think he's got a good case here, Anders Mol. We don't see a lot of these overturned, but I thought he planted that right on the blue line. Down comes Brian Hebert of Canada to take a look. Good development in the game that the player's allowed to request the referee to do this, and he has overruled There we go. I think that's a good call based on what we saw in real time.
That swing is insane, Simon. There's no there is no defense for that swing from Anders Mol. Any questions if Norway was healthy? Well, they're answered by the past two swings from Anders Mol. Goodness gracious.
Deliberately bumped up to the net for the option swing, and USA just putting together a great game plan here. Essentially, they're saying to Norway, you know, whatever your plan was running to the net, well, unlucky. We've just changed everything. Yeah, good swing into the angle from Sørum. Haven't tested him out for a little while. What did Karaka and Nicolaides do? I haven't seen that game. I mean, that was a massive contest by all accounts, and the Aussie pair went pretty close to beating Partain and Benesh.
Well, Karaka went just ballistic from at the net from a blocking standpoint. It's some of the best volleyball I've seen. It is the best volleyball I've seen from Nicolaides and Karaka this season. And this is what a rally we have again. Miles Partain, the open net dig from Anders Mol, and then the put away on the baby line. But the Australians, they've had a bit of a tough year. And then they had a crazy match with Try and Came in the qualifier, end up qualifying, and then they go to 3 every time. But against Andy and Miles, they were down 14-11 in the third set, come back because Karaka was just blocking left and right, ended up with 8, I believe, in the match. And that's something that, if you're getting blocked by Karaka 8 times in the match, but you're keeping Anders neutralized, that's impressive.
Great service pressure from Benesh, but it just clipped the block. That was a forceful serve from him. Well, Norway, once again, very similar to the USA, trusting their process, putting the ball in play, and not really forcing the issue at the moment. Nobody's going after Andy Benesh right now.
And it's just a matter of what do you want to deal with? Because when you serve Andy, he's 6'9", he has the reach to go over Anders, but then you have to deal with the Miles Partain on 2. A lot of times it's just easiest to deal with Partain's on 3 attack.
What a pass. What a pickup. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Oh, it's genius. Ladies and gentlemen, it's game on in Montreal.
That was unbelievable from both sides. But the Anders Mol swing on 2 from outside of the antenna that was somehow dug, this is a gold medal match for a reason. I don't know if I've ever seen a rally quite like that. That was madness.
A rally of extremes won by the Vikings. Again, they go after Partain. This time the jump set from Benesh. Brilliant read. Brilliant read. And the world's best blocker, just reminding us why he has that moniker.
And you see Anders, he hangs with Andy just until he sees the ball coming out of his hands, and then he double shuffles. And Anders is one of the few blockers, dynamic and athletic enough to be late to the block, but still jump so fast and block so far outside of his body to seal off that angle. Against almost every other blocker in the world, that swing from Miles is going to be a tool into the angle, no question. But Anders is, to me, the best blocker who has ever played beach volleyball, and you can see why, where it seems that he's been quiet in this set, but he has 3 blocks.
Timeout called by the USA. Bit of momentum swinging back in favour of the world and Olympic champions. And as fabulous as this match is, as incredible as the 4 athletes on show are, let me just remind you, this is the undercard, because the big title fight is on court next in the women's gold, as Brandy and Melissa of Canada, in front of the adoring home fans, take on Scholes and Flint of the USA. Not a bad undercard, is it?
Not a bad undercard. Decent. I'll give this a decent rating.
It's definitely a heavyweight contest. There we go. Just as you thought the USA were away and clear, Norway just turned the screw.
And I haven't seen Andy hit an option like that into the net this entire week. That's a rare error that I wouldn't expect to see again.
Now they're going after Benesh. Great change up on serve. That is a very well-earned point from the Vikings. Brilliant thinking.
And this is why you'll never see Anders and Christian getting ruffled at all. They're just so patient. Down 12-9 at the technical timeout. No worries. They just trust their defense, trust their block D, trust Anders at the net with the serving. They know that the pressure that they have is unlike any other team in the world.
He's turning it on now. Denied once again. And Norway moved to a 3-point cushion in rapid time. That's a great run of points.
And I love that replay. As you can see that Anders, he was in the angle, last second, sees Partain start to lean crossbody, throws those hands back into the line and gets another block, his fourth.
That's out as well. A little bit low, so Benesh had to put a loop on it, and it's taken it over the line. And in the blink of an eye, Norway have 4 set points in this gold medal final. He's got him. Oh, he is really unlucky there, Anders Mol, not to complete the job with another clinical play.
But the 7-1 run from Norway, they were down 15-13, and then they went up 20-16. That's the type of run that the U.S. hasn't suffered from yet in this tournament, but they haven't played Anders and Christian yet in this tournament.
Appropriate rocky music just ahead of that final point, but it wasn't a massive blow. It was a bit of finesse class from Anders Mol. Norway lead USA in this gold medal final by a 1-0.
And I would say that the score seemed a bit lopsided, 21-17, but I think that first set delivered all the hype that we could have expected from, one, the best team in the world, maybe the best team in beach volleyball history, and a team that is coming up as the best team in the United States and one of the best teams in the world. Miles and Andy already assured of a medal, so they're the first team since Phil Dahlhauser and Nick Lucena in 2015 to win 3 straight medals on the World Tour.
Wow. Now, I want to get me one of those Elite 16 shirts, just not sure what colour. If you scan that QR code, you can make your choice at shop.volleyballworld.com and show your support for the Montreal-inspired collection for this week's Elite 16 unique designed shirts. There we go, one lucky fan's got his hands on a brand new Mikasa Beach Pro Tour replica ball. We're good to go then with set 2 in this gold medal final. In the red, Team USA chasing this match now because the Volley Vikings are looking remarkably good. And that old phrase, don't poke the beast, comes to mind because it looks to me like USA have woken up the world and Olympic champions.
And this is maybe the best I have seen from Anders and Christian in about a year, perhaps, because as you mentioned, they seemed, not that they were getting comfortable, but no one had really inspired them to play their best again, and now they're getting poked by Sweden. They're getting poked by these young Americans. They're having to turn up their game a bit, and Anders Mol looks very healthy.
One apiece then, as we head off into set 2 to 21 points. And Christian Sørum, who hasn't had a tremendous amount to do in this game, looks like he's going to be given a workout early in set 2, and Benesh gets a hand on it.
And testing Anders ended up not working out towards the end of that second set. Now back to Christian they go. We'll see how long they can get Christian out of sorts, but it is tough to get a run of points on Christian Sørum.
And that's why, because he's got everything. He's got all the shots and he's got the heat.
And I think that's the true hallmark of a world-class great beach volleyball player is someone who can limit the runs immediately. And Christian Sørum is the #1 example of that, where he might give up one, but he will very rarely give up 2 points in a row.
Great pressure line serve. Sørum can't quite get on that, but USA having to battle hard here just to stay in the match. They look really good. First 3 quarters of the opening set, USA looked like they had real control. And then just suddenly, Mol comes to the party, and that's it. I mean, literally, game over. First set in the bank. And a very definite change of game plan here. So all the service traffic now going to the Norwegian defender, Sørum.
I feel like the way that Anders is able to close out matches, it's almost like a video game superpower where you've sort of unlocked Anders mode, and you just can collect 8 or 9 points in a span of 10.
That ain't bad. Quality indoor setter, Miles Partain with UCLA, the university that he left to pursue this beach volleyball dream of getting to the Paris 2024 games, and you could see it with that set.
And I'm a bit surprised that Anders got caught by that set by Partain, because the set actually ended up, it was almost a kind of a soccer throw style set from Partain. It drifted behind him in an unhittable position, but Miles just displayed a world-class ability to option, in my mind, the #1 option player in the world, and so you just have to honor it no matter where it is in location to his body.
Great swing. We're getting some lovely drone shots of this centre court here on Notre Dame Island, an artificial island on the St. Lawrence River, constructed out of 15 million tons of rock that was excavated from building the Montreal Metro in the 1960s for the Expo 67 World Fair. And also on the island, the rowing lakes that were used for the 1976 Montreal Summer Olympics, and the Gilles Villeneuve racetrack that is at home of Formula One's Montreal Grand Prix. But this week, it's all about the genius of the Beach Pro Tour athletes.
Just so fun to watch Anders and Christian continue to level up their game. The side set, shoot to the pin, and then Miles Partain almost got a controlled dig on that. Just such fun beach volleyball.
And how much do this Montreal crowd know their beach volleyball? They are oohing and ahhing in all the right places, Travis.
What I've loved about it is that they just cheer for everyone. They cheer especially loud for Mel and Brandy, considering that they're from Canada, but they just love good volleyball, and they have been given an embarrassment of riches of good volleyball.
Great recovery. Lovely second dig from Partain. Surely USA's point now. No. Once again, Anders Mol not having any of it. He has absolutely launched himself on that block.
And I have this as the 5th block of the match for Anders Mol, and they have needed all of them. Had Anders not stuffed Miles so many times in transition in the first set, that first set goes to the U.S., and here he is keeping it tied at 6-6 in the second when the U.S. could have been pulling away.
Sørum's all over this. No. Oh, dear. Well, he made his mind up to hit that option very early, and then the ball got him all out of shape.
And I wonder if he was looking for the hands of Andy Benesh, and then Benesh dives into the line knowing that Anders' best swing is that cross-body swing. And so Andy was taking that away, taking away the highest percentage swing. And I think it surprised Anders that there were no hands for him to hit against.
Just out from Christian Sørum, and that's a mirror image of set 1. USA have managed to forge themselves a 2-point lead here. They're not going anywhere.
And I think all the fans here in Montreal are going to jump on the American bandwagon just because they want to see this go the full 3 sets.
Yeah, I think that's a good call, actually. Bit of North American solidarity. Too easy, bizarre shot there from Sørum. And Partain, realising that Mol was well set, finds his own bit of finesse for a 3-point cushion. Here we go.
I don't know if I've ever seen Christian hit a shot like that. To be honest, I have watched a lot, almost an embarrassing amount, of Norwegian beach volleyball film the last 5 years, and I don't think I've ever seen Christian hit the wrong shot so softly. I mean, that looked like a practice-controlled pepper over the net right into the lap of Miles. I'm wondering what happened there with Christian.
Norway going to reset the computer here. They've gone for a timeout. Well, not unusual as you head deeper into an Olympic qualification zone. It's not unusual to start to see the kind of head-to-heads developing between the main contenders, or the teams that we think will be the main contenders for medals in Paris 2024. And then depending on the seeding, this could make a very interesting game. At next year's Olympics, it may prove to be an interesting game at the Worlds. Wow, there we go. Computer reset, Travis.
And another tremendous opportunity for the United States, and another one. Another block in transition from Anders Mol to keep this set close. Had he not done that in the first set, I'll repeat again, the United States should have taken that opening set, but Anders, his blocks in transition are the difference maker as he keeps the deficit just to 2.
Here we go. Another one of those Norwegian superpowers. No lead is really safe, although that's a couple of hitting errors from Sørum in a row now. He's the one that looks under pressure right now.
And at least in that instance, he made a fantastic defensive play, held his ground in the line despite Benesh's tendency to option into the angle. Then he hit the right shot. He just missed it by a couple inches wide, which is uncharacteristic, but it was the right decision.
Holy moly. Oh. Well, USA may still lose the point. No, Partain decides it will be the USA's point. Should Norway oblige? Oh, this is just great stuff. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is as good as it gets.
And listen to the crowd. They know what they just saw. They saw world-class beach volleyball, 2 of the best defensive teams. I think these are 2 of the top 3 best defensive teams in the world. Sweden, when they're healthy, in that conversation, as is the Czech Republic's David Schweiner and Andre Perisic. But again, Norway could be down by 5 or 6 in this set, but they just keep winning these long rallies. They keep fending off the Americans in transition, and they're just hanging in. And you cannot let Norway hang in these matches because a 2-point lead is not safe at all.
Oh, what a great shot from that drone cam. Did you see the movement of Anders Mol trying to cover everything?
Just one of the best athletes in the world, not just in volleyball, in the world. I think if you give Anders Mol some kind of ball and a court, he's going to be one of the best at it in just a couple weeks. And you can just see he's just so athletic, so rangy.
Needs his partner now to back him up because the shots are going to come. USA aren't going to keep ploughing that ball straight into the Norwegian block at the net. They're going to maneuver it around, and Sørum needs to start picking things off and converting. I wonder how good Anders Mol would have been if he'd stayed indoors.
Frightening. I would not want to be a libero on the other side of the net from Anders Mol.
Solid pass from Sørum. Oh, it's brilliant. There's the one factor that's been missing from the equation for the USA. Benesh gets himself a monster block.
And transition points haven't been friendly to the U.S., and that's the way to make it a friendly one, is just to end it on your first contact. Fantastic block from Andy Benesh, who has joined the conversation with Anders Mol as one of the best blockers in the world. He has finished in the top 3 in every single international tournament he has played. And Anders Mol, typically, unquestionably, the number 1 in stats. now has some competition with big Andrew Benesh.
Well, there we go. Happy birthday, young man.
What a way to celebrate a birthday, to see one of the most anticipated gold medal matches. I think this is the #1 most anticipated men's match we could have seen for gold.
Yep, just invite a couple thousand of your closest friends over and watch some world-class beach volleyball. It'll slip under the net from Sørum. A good save again off the block, just allows them to execute the point. The patience of this Norwegian team is extraordinary sometimes.
And I love how calm they are covering. One of the best covering teams in the world, especially when Christian is coming up to shoot a shot where the set is a little bit tight. They're always so ready to cover. And then Anders in transition from that short court on the net, he's fantastic.
Sørum is not on his game at the moment. He's not quite there. But all the time the lead remains at 2s and 3s. That isn't enough for the USA. They know that. They are going to have to do a bit more of that to get it over the line. And for the first time in this gold medal final, we're starting to get that 3-set feeling.
You do get that feeling. Now, watching Norway, I don't think any lead is ever safe. But between Andy and Miles, it's a team with such a high side out rate that it is difficult, especially with how many points they're earning.
Just got a little touch off that one-handed block by Moll. I'm going to go out on a limb here, Travis. This is a golden opportunity for the USA to make it 3 in a row because Christian Sørum is struggling here.
He is, and Andy and Miles have dialed into their troubleshooting pattern. Now, here you need to watch out for the Anders Moll options when it's in system.
Well, that'll do. He's a player that had to play with pretty serious injury last season. He managed to get through a few tournaments and get to finals and get wins when he was nowhere near 100% fit.
And to compare old film, 2021 film of Christian Sørum and put it next to that 2022 after the injury, he was just a different player, but he has evolved because of it, where he's shooting more shots, and there's some more circus jump sets from the United States of America. But Christian, it's good to see that power coming back in his shoulder because he's starting to unload on balls that we haven't seen in quite some time.
2 line blocks signaled by Benesh. So Partain will sit in the pocket and nearly gets another touch on that. So Sørum's doing enough at the moment to tick the scoreboard over. But USA have a lead now that they should be able to take to the bank.
And defensively, Sørum's been pretty quiet as well. Now, Anders is always going to be making noise at the net, but Christian has had very few opportunities in defense in terms of digging balls. Most of the earned points have come on Anders Moll blocks, and there's been a considerable amount of them, but Christian has been a bit quiet defensively.
And now USA just scoring points for fun. There's a little bit gone out of the Vikings' performance at the moment. Moll comes back with some serious heat, though. Super spike from him.
Goodness gracious. The power that Anders packs in those swings. You could know that a hard angle swing is coming, and you could sit there and camp, and good luck digging that. Good grief.
That was the slow-mo. That's a frighteningly good hit as well from Miles Partain. USA looking no mood to give this up.
And the maturity of Miles Partain is so cool to watch because a lot of players, when you get blocked as many times as Miles has by Anders, they'll get in their head a bit. But Miles, he's staying aggressive and swinging high and swinging deep. His maturity and belief in himself, it's fun to watch.
Christian Sørum is just looking for a few different things here that he can use for the rest of this match. That's the first time he's really challenged Benesh off the arms. Yeah, good read by Mol to follow Partain, but both Norwegian players ending up on the same side of court there, and Partain finds the open sand, and this job is done in set 2 for Team USA.
I've seen bigger comebacks, Simon, but it does seem to be trending that direction in a hurry.
I do love a bold claim, but yeah, I just couldn't. I couldn't see USA relinquishing things here. They've controlled this so nicely from the front. 6 set points. This has turned into a bit of a demolition job with one simple change to the game plan. Serve Sørum. It's just unreal.
That swing. Are you kidding me? I mean, to be a right-handed player on the right side and to hit a ball like that, it goes beyond words. Just the physicality and athleticism of an Anders Mol. Now, fortunately for the United States and anyone who plays against Anders, it's only worth one.
Yeah, and he can't rip a jump serve to get them back into it. 21-15. This is a worrying moment for Team Norway as they stalk away to the pit lane here at this Montreal centre court. 21-17, 21-15. We are level, and for the third time in a row between these two great teams, we are going the distance.
And I think almost a troubling number for Norway is the fact that Anders had 7 blocks in those first 2 sets, and they're still going 3. Typically, if you have 7 blocks in 2 sets, match over. That's it. And not only are we going 3, but the U.S. won 21-15. And so Norway is going to have to find a different way to manufacture points on the defensive end other than Anders' blocks, because it's not a sustainable strategy in this match in specific. Typically, you can rely on Anders to run that number to about 10 or 11 in a match, but Andy and Miles, they've made the adjustments. Now it's going to be up to Anders and Christian. What can they do from the service line that's different? What can Christian do defensively that's different to get them more opportunities other than Anders' stuff blocks?
QR code. Get your mobiles out, scan that, and head off to the Volleyball World shop. You can get your hands on one of those wonderful design shirts, interlocking elegant geometric shapes that portray the iconic Volleyball World logo, but also just give a nod towards the Habitat 67 housing complex here on the St. Lawrence River, architect designed by Moshe Savri. And it's all reflected in those incredible Elite 16 shirts. Oh, we've got another wonderful finish ahead to this match. It's 1-1. Away we go then, with the shootout to 15 in the red. The number 2 seeds from the USA, Miles Partain and Andy Benesh, are taking it to the best team in the world, Anders Mol and Christian Sørum, for a 3rd straight match. 2 victories for the Americans in start, and they've come here looking for an unprecedented 3 straight wins over the Beach Volley Vikings. But they are the past masters at getting themselves out of tricky spots, and they are in one right now. Well, that'll do nicely from Andy Benesh. Thrashes it into the corner. The man in your picture there in the number 2 shirt, Travis, Christian Sørum, he's the man with all the pressure right now. He's the key to whether Norway can win this or not.
And he's been the man getting almost every serve for the past 5 years, save for a small stretch in 2021. So he's had this pressure before. He can deal with it.
Oh, good scramble. Nice positioning from Sørum to pick that off. And rolls it down the line. Another great get, though, from Benesh. His mobility at the net for a tall man is impressive.
Andy, he swore off weightlifting for a couple years, and then he got back in the weight room for the past 6-8 months, and it's showing. He is now physically fit. He's mentally fit. Their coach, Mike Playchek, has them running an offensive system and a defensive system that is exemplifying his strengths. And so he's just evolved into a totally different player.
That's a great lead from Sørum. In the position he's in the match right now, I think that would have been a tempter to play, but he's still got his thinking head on.
he's such a smart player. And again, Norway, they're so patient. They've been at the top of the World Tour for 5 years for a reason. And here they are again. A little bit of a challenge here from the Americans. And Anders is going to have a word about that set.
Well, I was amazed that Benesh didn't hit the option ball there. So by the time he got to the set, it didn't look very nice.
And it came out. So the standard on the World Tour is that doubles are kind of, they're lenient on that, but lifts are not. So that at least came out high and fast, but it did look like it came out with a bit of a double contact. So Anders had an argument.
It eventually came out high and fast.
Eventually.
What a dust-up this has been. How are they leading? I mean, are you kidding me? 4-2 Norway.
Now, Christian has settled back in offensively. And so the general rule of thumb in beach volleyball is 3 straight side outs, and you generally want to try the other one. But Anders has been almost unservable in this match. So I think they're just going to have to stick on Sørum, and then they just tag the end line, and we have a tie ball game, Simon.
A serve for 4-all. USA sticking with their plan of throwing everything at Christian Sørum. He knows it's coming again. Yeah, nicely done. Nicely done. He was looking for that towards the back end of set 2. He's trying to use Benesh's block as much as he can.
And I love that back hammer angle because you could see the defensive setup from the Americans where Miles, he sits in the seam, shifts line, shifts seam, shifts line, and then makes a last-second move into the angle, and Sørum saw all of it.
Oh, again, he hits that ridiculous shot from a crazy angle with no court and jackknifes as he hammers that down.
There are so many skills that Anders is #1 in the world, but his ability to hit after he gets a soft block and Sørum sets him on the inside when he's on the right side, for him to twist his body like that and still generate that much power, no one else in the world can do what Anders Mol just did. And they have a 6-4 lead because of it. And again, the defensive points are all, they start and end with Anders Mol. He needs to continue to sustain this level of play. He's playing at about 99% of his capabilities right now, and he needs to continue to sustain that for them to win this gold medal.
Hits it hard down the line, gets the overpass and batters it. Anders Mol stepping up to the plate right now. 7-4 Norway lead.
I'm curious to see if we are going to have a timeout from the young Americans.
Yeah, right on cue. Well, we knew it was going to be a fascinating battle. It's delivered exactly that. And for me, that extra ingredient of having this knowledgeable crowd who seem completely linked into every single touch that the athletes make on the volleyball, it's just created a wonderful atmosphere.
It's been so fun. It's been so fun to commentate all of these matches because it just adds that extra energy. It's just been tremendous. It's been a tremendous week of beach volleyball, and I've been lucky to be a part of it for the last 4.5 days. And this is the third meeting we've seen between Norway and the United States, and the third time, Simon, you've been on the call, and the third time we're going 3.
Absolutely, and we're still none the wiser. Norway have a lead that they can work with here, but only if Christian Sørum can stand up to the pressure that is coming his way from Team USA. Good read from Mol. Nice reuse from the American pair. So they finally get their side out, but they're being made to work a little harder for the points at the moment.
It might surprise people how adept Andy Benesh is at those little small touches, but him and Miles will play one-on-one for 3 hours once a week, where you just have to become a master at those little tiny touches, little poke cover that Andy just did, and that's the reason that he's able to save that point.
He's back. Christian Sørum's back.
He's never gone for long, Christian Sørum. Even when he gets in just a mini side out rut, his ability to bounce back and return to the #1 defender in the world, it just never ceases to surprise and astonish me.
Well, in amongst all the mayhem of this wonderful match, should really have mentioned the fact that that second set won by Team USA was the first set that Norway have dropped here in Montreal. That's the quality of the play that they've had. It also, therefore, reminds you of the quality of this US team to take them all the way, and they might just take them down again with blocking like that from Benesh.
And right now, this is Andy Benesh versus Anders Mol, where both players are playing near the top of their abilities and potential as players, and both of them are trying their best to insert themselves into the match as much as possible. Andy's optioned the last two for the United States. Anders trying an option there. Benesh finally getting a block going. He's being outblocked right now by Anders, but 8-7. It doesn't get any closer than that in the third set.
Another massive pressure moment. And Sørum passes it with flying colours. What's impressing me here, Travis, is he's not trying to pass option balls. He's prepared to take every single drop of this pressure.
Certain players thrive in pressure moments, and Christian, he loves it when the matches come down to him towards the end. He lives for those moments.
Here we go, big blocking moment for Mol, gets him. You could just see that as soon as Partain was just taken a little out of system, he was licking his lips.
And again, Partain tries to carve that off into the angle, but doesn't get sharp enough, ends up being a little bit too far in the seam, and that is the same block that Anders has collected over and over and over again. By my count, he's at 8.
Massive three-point advantage, little too much taken on, and have Norway managed to finally break this US pair, looking for their first victory over Partain and Benesh.
I think that was a bit forced from Partain, but if he goes back at Benesh, I would fully expect Partain to go optioning again.
Couldn't do much with that. Oh, brilliant. USA, though, keep it in play. It touched the block, so it has to come. And that was a tricky one to deal with. And Anders Mol goes to the crowd and says, thanks for the shout of out.
You've been talking about the knowledgeable crowd here in Montreal. And if Anders Mol is unsure, the Montreal crowd will let him know it is out of boundaries as Norway is pulling away at the end of this third set.
He's a trusting man. Oh, yes. Little backhand flipper, well covered by Partain. Sørum's on it. Norway to extend their lead. No. Great little check step from Partain, but it means he can't get the power. Not a problem for Anders Mol, who absolutely melts it.
It doesn't get old. It doesn't ever get old watching Norway play beach volleyball. 5 straight years they have been the #1 team in the world. Look at this turn from Anders.
Oh,
unbelievable athleticism.
And then yet again, ball coming across his body. Belts the cover off it. There we go. There we go. Yeah, he's quite right. The response of Christian Sørum to the pressure put on him by Team USA has been nothing short of amazing. They are away and clear now, Norway. And a little test of character for USA at the back end of this gold medal final.
And this one might be a bit out of reach. As good as Miles and Andy are defensively, Norway, I don't think I've ever seen them give up a 5-point lead, especially in a third set.
2 kills will do it for gold. Not quite able to get on that one. Partain just pokes it straight to Sørum. Well, I said it was a test of character, and this US pair have got it in abundance.
They're just such a strong defensive team where, again, we see Partain get 3 digs in the same rally ends up no approach on that one and just Yahtzees it deep angle. And I love this timeout from Norway. You know that the match is yours. All you need to do is just side out 2 more balls, but they're not messing around. We saw a huge comeback yesterday on the women's side. Betsy Flint and Julia Scholes were down 5 match points to Duda and Ana Patricia. Looked like Brazil got a little lackadaisical, didn't call timeout till 14-12. Anders and Christian not messing around with that. And Bianca, Simon, did someone get a stopwatch out?
She's off.
This might be a record lap time.
That's the energy that this centre court brings. And Bianca's been part of creating that. Very good job from the MC. I'd say there was a look at the end of that last rally from Christian Sørum. He looked long and hard through the net at Miles Partain. And I just wonder if his thoughts were somewhere along the lines of, oh my God, he's only going to get better.
It's like an Andre Agassi looking across the net at a young Roger Federer and thinking,
It was nice while it lasted. Partain then. USA looking to create something special. Oh, it's out. It's out. Oh, my goodness me. It's on. And as one very famous Premier League manager, soccer manager that is, once said in the UK, it's squeaky bum time.
I like that saying. I've never heard that before.
It's okay. Norway have got it under control. Or have they? It's a good hit. It's well defended by Moll. Oh, that's just brilliant. Wow. USA have fought so hard, but finally Norway get themselves 4 gold medal points.
And again, Simon, I'm just petitioning certain matches. Let's just make them 5-setters.
Yeah,
we don't want this one to end.
Absolutely. Play your joker. Take it to 5. He's on it. This for the championship. There it is. And at last, the Beach Volley Vikings have beaten the new kids on the block, Miles Partain and Andy Benesh. Dramatic stuff, tested to the limit, but you cannot keep a good man down. And Christian Sørum rebounds in the third to give Norway a 2-1 victory and another Elite 16 title, this time in Montreal, Canada. Enjoy that one, Travis?
Oh my gosh, I enjoyed it just as much as these Montreal fans enjoyed it. I think I enjoyed it just as much as Anders and Christian did, maybe a little bit more because I had no pressure on me. I just got to sit back and watch just some tremendous beach volleyball. And the great thing is that, you know, we talk about the youth of Miles Partain, just 21 years old, and Andy Benesh, young for an American, but Anders and Christian are still in their 20s. They still have years and years and years left. And now we have Miles Partain and Andy Benesh coming up. We have Jonathan Helvig and David Amon coming up. We have this glut of youngsters coming up to challenge Anders and Christian, and it is just such a blast to watch this Beach Pro Tour right now, the highest level beach volleyball the world has ever seen.
Come on then. I think it's time to hear from our champions there, down there on the sand with Bianca.
Ladies and gentlemen, here in Montreal, we've crowned our champions, Team Norway. Anders Moll, Christian Sørum went to battle. It was a rematch from Stad. Tell us how you knew you had to pull through. That's a hard team to beat, and you guys did it.
I don't know. I don't know what to say. This is so amazing. It's been a great week. And like you said, the Americans are really, really strong team. And we're going to look a lot forward to playing them a lot of times in the future. Yeah, we have to give it up to them. They played a great match today, a great fight. They had a great run the last couple of weeks. So, yeah, it's gonna be tough in the future.
Definitely an interesting season ahead of you. Before I get to the volleyball question, how much maple syrup did you pack in your suitcase to take home?
Nothing yet, but we're for sure gonna stop by the store and buy a lot.
We recommend it, yes. But on a serious note, Is there anything you want